Good evening to everyone that is over here on the East Coast. Of course, I'm Coach Steele, and this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have each and every person as you tune in on today. Of course, it is about 6:03 Eastern Standard Time Zone. Of course, if you're listening in, feel free to punch in. Let me know what state you're in and what city you're in. Today, we're going to talk about planning for retirement. Want to engage in a conversation. And basically, with Coach Steele's Finance Training today, I am live on YouTube and I'm live on Facebook as well. So definitely happy to have you no matter what platform you're here for. Definitely subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you're following me. And even if you follow me on Facebook, make sure you go to Coach Steele's Finance Training. All right, so today we are talking about planning for retirement. And my question to you today is, what are you doing to plan for retirement? I want to know what our team, Coach Steele's Finance Training, as we huddle up today, what are we doing to plan for retirement? Do you have a retirement plan in place? What are you doing to fortify and make it realistic to be able to have income coming in, whether mentally or physically? You decide at that point there's no need to work at your current job, or who knows, mentally or physically, you may not be able to work at that current job, or just don't desire not to as well. What retirement, how have you set up for passive income to enter into your pockets, direct deposits into your wallets? How are you setting yourself up for success when you reach that age where you no longer or desire to work where you are? And honestly, it may not be after 59 and a half. There may be some people in Coach Steele's Finance Training that desire to disconnect from their current 9-to-5 job 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What are you doing to plan to create that passive income so that you can do some of the things you desire to do, whether it's spending more family time, whether it is traveling, whether it is going on missions trips, serving, doing internships to create a better position at another job? How are you planning for retirement? Is it a 401k? Is it IRAs? What type of IRA? Is it a Roth IRA? Is it a traditional IRA? Is it 403B? Is it a TSP? How are you planning for retirement? And there may be some people that aren't using the traditional methods to plan for retirement. Some people may be planning to create this passive income through social media. Maybe they're setting up a platform where they can monetize and make income through social media. There may be some people that decide not to use a 401k. Some people may decide not to use an IRA. They may take those funds and invest it into a different asset class. Some people may choose to use real estate as the route to create this passive income or this retirement income. So my question to you today, as you are listening in, what route are you taking to create passive income and or planning for retirement on today? I'm confident this is an important conversation we need to have, because many of us, we put funds away for retirement, but we don't know if it's the accurate amount. We don't know what the long-term consequences are if we put $100 a month away, if we put $500 a month. What is your long-term goal? How much do you want in that account? What is your goal when it comes to hypothetical? Let's say it's a 401k or a Roth IRA. What is your long-term goal, and how much are you trying to have in that account when you do disconnect or step away from that job? And also something else we need to think about is, and we talked about this either it was Saturday or Sunday evening when I went live, when you have that amount, what percentage of it will you draw from it annually? What are going to be those distribution amounts that you receive monthly after you've sent all those contributions in over the years, whether it's 15 years, 20 years, 30 years? How much do you plan on receiving monthly? And that monthly amount that you receive, is it enough? Is it enough for you to be able to comfortably live off of every month? How much do you need to have in that retirement account that you receive distributions that you can live off of monthly comfortably? Is it enough to take care of your current expenses, your current bills, your current overhead? Is it enough? Does it balance out to be able to take care of those things? Or are you still coming up short? When you do the math, is it looking like mathematically what is in your retirement account when you receive monthly distributions? Is it enough to tackle and pay for those expenses that you have? Those are important things that you need to know right now. If you're tuning in, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. Definitely having a tough conversation that many people don't want to discuss, many people don't want to talk about, but we need to have that conversation now. And we need to continue to have that conversation because most people are not prepared for retirement. But we can change those statistics and we can change the outcome by taking action, by educating ourselves, and by learning what we need to do to properly plan for retirement. We can put it off another week. We can put this subject off another month. Hey, we can put it off for a few more years. But what happens? That means you're not prepared. You're not in position to be able to transition comfortably. And so that's why sometimes people find themselves having to stay at a job longer than they desire. And it affects them physically and it affects them mentally. And so certain jobs you can maintain and you can do for an extended period of time. And then there's some jobs where as you get older, it is almost impossible to be able to maintain the physical or mental requirements from that job. Some people, they want to work where they are currently working until they pass away, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But in the meantime, if something happens where you cannot continue to do that job, we want to plan and prep for other things that may happen later on in life where you need to have income coming in steadily to help you maintain your standard of living without having to clock in at a 9 to 5. And so once again, I asked that question, what is that amount? How much do you need in that account? We went over this last Saturday or Sunday in a live that I did, and we saw that the average person right now has maybe about $120,000 in their retirement account. And we did the math of how much money they could receive monthly from that retirement, $120,000. You know, what if it was $200,000? Do you know if you have $200,000 in your retirement account, how much you'll be able to draw monthly from that when you decide to retire, whether it's 59 and a half or whether you decide to wait till you're 73? What does that amount look like for you? And that's the research that I give everyone. That's the homework that I give you today is you need to go find out. You need to get guidance. You need to get with an advisor. You need to get with your job and get those estimates to find out, are you putting enough in there? And what adjustments can you make? What are the fees attached to your plan? Find out all of that information because it's going to dictate what you receive when you start drawing. And then also just keep in mind that it might be taxable based off of what financial tool you use for retirement. Have you factored in the taxes that come along with you drawing that income as well? And so there's some jobs that, as you work them, whether, it's some type of government-based job, or let's say you're in the military, quite naturally, if you do about 20 years in the military, unless it's changed, less now, you can work and then there's like a built-in retirement pension that you get every month. And so some jobs have that stuff built in. But even if it's built in, you still need to know an estimate about how much will you receive a month. Why? Because you still have expenses. You still have to eat. You still need a roof over your head. You still need, to pay insurance, electric bill, all these different things still have to be paid. And is that retirement enough to cover those things that have to be paid? So those are the things that we have to look at. And so one thing you can do as you're planning for retirement, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about planning for retirement. And so before I dive into some of those things you can do to plan for retirement, let me remind everybody, as you are tuning in, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. I am the financial voice of the people. And so we have a community here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. Everyone is welcome. Everyone can join. We accept everyone with open arms because we want to fix our financial situation and grow together to get to the next levels that we need to be. I work with clients daily, and as I work with clients daily, most people, what I find is they really don't have a grasp of their budget. They really don't have a grasp of how much they have coming in monthly and how much they have going out monthly. And that's a huge problem. When we talk about planning for retirement, when we talk about planning for the future, if you don't know your present, situation, circumstance, it is going to be extremely difficult to plan for your future. It's going to be extremely difficult to plan for your retirement. So let's have that uncomfortable conversation now. Let's have that uncomfortable conversation and figure out what can I do to improve what I'm doing now to help me be in a better situation to plan for my retirement. We don't have to struggle as we get older. We don't have to put our financial burden on the younger generation as we get older if we properly plan. Think about it. How many people do you know, and not to pick on anyone or judge anyone or point the finger, because life happens and things happen. Realistically, how many people do you know that they are older in age and yet they either don't have a retirement plan, the financial situation is shaky, it's probably difficult for them to be able to find a job. And what has happened now is the younger generation or people around them are having to give and help support for that person to be able to maintain their lifestyle. Oh, yes, I know I'm talking and you understand exactly what I'm saying. There are people that you know that are older, financially things have happened, they're in a retirement age, and yet they cannot maintain themselves comfortably. So now the younger generation or their siblings or other family members are having to come together randomly here and there to help that person. Some people financially, as they get older, they're in such a bad state. Not only do they struggle to pay their rent or their mortgage, but then they don't even have enough money for their medicine. They don't have enough money to handle their medical bills or to get quality medical care. All of this plays a role in your comfort of living and your lifestyle. This is crucial that we talk about this. This is important that we talk about this because we have to end the cycle of the younger generation or those around us having to pull together to maintain us as we get older in age because financially we did not plan properly. Once again, life happens, things happen, unexpected things happen. So some people, their situation was out of their control. What I'm talking about is there are many of us that we can start planning strategically to put ourselves in a better situation for retirement. We have to figure it out and figure out what can we do now to put ourselves in a better situation. Daniel Dotson said we have to stop the cycle. This is a cycle that we have seen over and over and over, and it continues to happen. And unfortunately, if we don't do something, if we don't take action, it will continue to get worse. And what you have to decide is in your mind and in your heart and say, I'm not going to be a part of the problem. I'm going to be a part of the solution. And so the only way that you can be a part of the solution is if you start strategically planning for retirement. What are things that I can do? What are strategies that I can start right now today so that I don't have as much overhead when I retire and or I have enough income coming in to handle all of these expenses and my lifestyle, the things that I enjoy? How do I come up? How do I manage all of those things? We got to do it with either cash flow or you got to get rid of certain things. And so you know what quality of life you have. You know if you want to go on vacations. You know if you want to consistently buy gifts for others. Some of you may have grandkids and you know you're going to have grandkids in the future. You have them now. There are certain things you want to plan for them, whether it's putting college fund money away, if you're investing in their future. But it starts with taking care of yourself first. If you're so busy trying to handle and take care of everyone else right now, and you don't take care of you first and plan for your future, then all of that work that you did is going to end up crumbling because now you need those funds to maintain yourself. So what are some things we can do to plan for retirement? I already told you one of them. You need to find out whether it's your 401k or whether it's your pension or whether it's your IRA, 403b, TSP. You need to find out how much is in there. And when you hit a certain age, on average, what is that estimated retirement amount going to be? And how much can you draw from there? What is the percentage? What is the amount that you're going to be able to draw annually? And what does that look like for you monthly? What's something else we can do? Most people have a mortgage or most people pay rent. Now, of course, if you pay rent, that's something that doesn't ever stop unless you find a nice landlord or apartment complex that just decides you don't have to pay rent anymore. And that's highly unlikely. So usually you're going to pay rent forever as long as you're renting. Now, as far as a mortgage, if you consistently pay a mortgage for 30 years without refinancing and you consistently do it without missing a payment, your mortgage payment should be eventually gone. Now, of course, I wouldn't want to pay a mortgage for 30 years, but if you pay off your mortgage, if you pay off your house, then now you don't have a regular principal and interest mortgage payment you have to pay monthly. Guess what? You just decrease some of that debt that you have to pay monthly. You just decrease some of the overhead that your income would have to attack. So now, of course, if you want to get rid of a mortgage in estimated 5 to 7 years, then definitely reach out to me, whether it's on YouTube or, of course, you see my email address down there at the bottom of the ticker, coachsteelefinance@gmail.com. Feel free to jump on there and I can send you some information in regarding to learning how to pay your mortgage off at an accelerated rate with mentorship, with guidance, and with coaching. But anyway, getting rid of that mortgage definitely will help when it comes to retirement because most people, guess what their potential biggest expense is every month? Usually most people, that biggest expense that they have monthly is their mortgage. And so you must understand that if you get rid of that mortgage payment, then all you have left is potentially property taxes and insurance. And then there's some people that don't even have to pay property taxes. So now you're just left with paying insurance. And then if you're only left with paying insurance, and here's another cool thing to learn. Now at that point, if all you're paying is insurance and you no longer have a mortgage and you got with me and you learn how to pay your mortgage off in estimated 5 to 7 years, and that's no longer overhead. And let's say all you pay is property taxes or insurance or potentially only insurance. If you have a small business, if you have, a home-based business or whatever it is, and you're making income, or there may be some years where you're losing, If you have an office space or you use your house in some shape, form, or fashion, then there are potentially tax write-offs with that. Now, get with a CPA, get with your tax advisor, find out more information from that. Do your personal due diligence on that as well. Well, if you get tax write-offs concerning the house, and then the only thing you were paying was property tax and insurance, and those tax write-offs may potentially cancel out whatever that expense was, then you very well may have made the house an asset as opposed to being a liability, because now it isn't necessarily costing you. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. So everyone looks at your personal home as a liability, but it doesn't have to be. It all depends on how you maneuver and how you use it to your advantage, whether it's in business or in other areas. So anyway, getting rid of the mortgage payment helps when you're trying to retire. What else can you do? Well, some people will get solar. That's debatable. Getting solar panels might decrease your monthly electric bill. And of course, there are some tax write-offs that come with solar panels as well. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of things that you have to think about as you retire. Another thing we find as people get older, their medical bills increase. And that's interesting because when you're at your current job, certain benefits, medical benefits, come with it as you are paying in and you're working there. But when you disconnect from that job, now you still have medical bills, seeing, the doctors, appointments, and all that other good stuff that happens as we age. How do you handle that? How do you balance all of that out, knowing that as you get older, that you'll still have medical bills? And so a lot of people don't think about that when they think about what are my monthly expenses when it comes to retirement. We need to factor those what ifs in there as well. So if you currently have $6,000 a month worth of expenses, and right now you currently make $6,500 a month at your job, at the end of every month, you might have $500 left over. But when you retire from that job, usually most people, their retirement income is less than the income when they were working there as a 9 to 5. So when that income decreases, do you have enough funds to take care of those same expenses? And if not, you need to start planning and being strategic about what bills or expenses you can get rid of by the time you plan on receiving that decrease in monthly income in that retirement. All of these things are very, very important to think about. All of these things are very important to take into consideration. I just wanted to stop through for a few minutes and get your wheels to turn so that you can start taking action today to plan for retirement. Most people do not plan for retirement, so most people probably would not want to listen to this message because it affects a soft area. It affects an area where it may be painful to talk about. So if the stats say that most people are not prepared for retirement, especially women and minority women, then that means either they are not taking action or they're not even listening and learning to educate themselves on what they should do. So we must understand that we have to listen to conversations and directions that are uncomfortable so that we can be comfortable later. Once again, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have you all tuned in. I am always enjoying when I get to engage with the crowd, engage with our team here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. I am live on today, and I'm usually live on YouTube and Facebook, but definitely go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training. I'm going to get out your way. And before I get out your way, I just want to remind everyone that every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, I go live and we talk about financial literacy. We pick a different subject. If you miss any of those lives, go back to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training, and you can catch up on all those YouTube videos where we're talking about financial literacy If you like gardening, I have a lot of videos on the YouTube channel that discuss gardening as well. We're on our way up. Stay tuned and stay connected. And I appreciate each and every person as you listened in. It's been a pleasure talking to you all today as well about planning for retirement. Get yourself in position so that you can be comfortable